Welcome, y'all. Today we're going to try a slightly different car. It's the Lotus 49. And our main goal today is just to not die. We didn't qual because it's not an attached qual, and I forgot. Here we go. From looking at the way that it worked out, it was probably better I didn't qual.
Green, green, green.
And the main goal is just, again, to survive, because this track is insane. Certain specific parts of it are just ridiculous.
Clear on the right. Left side.
Okay, you can just go.
Clear.
And some of the fun things is, like, entering the oval, you need to turn left a little bit, which I was in an odd spot, so I didn't have to that time. And here's the insane part, which it looks like some other folks lifted quite heavily, which I have figured out how to do it flat out, just doesn't always work out that way. And you'll also notice the braking distances in this car are a country mile. And if you're curious what's up with that, it's a
Still there. Hold your line.
take a skip barber, reduce the weight, reduce the drag, and then give it a 400 horsepower engine. But you also give it the tire compound from the 1960s, as well as brakes from the 1960s.
On the left. Clear on the right. Car right. Clear on the right.
Which means you don't have that great of braking.
Side. Clear. Good. Minute 27.79. Good.
And I think this week in practice, I have found every single way to die that is possible. Even this morning, I found new ways when I was warming up for this.
Car on your left. Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
And this part's fun because you want to stay a little bit higher, unlike the last part where you stay lower.
Left side. Stick to the right. Clear on the left. Car right. Still there. Hold your line. Clear on the right.
I shouldn't have blown that turn. So one good thing about this car is that it's much, much more rugged than the Skippy is. Thankfully. And fortunately, I don't think I have any damage from that little tap. Wasn't in position, so decided not to. Not a big fan of trying to pass on the oval right now. Oh. Yeah, remember that whole discussion about these cars having brakes like or not having brakes essentially? Yeah, I don't plan on being overly aggressive when seeing things like that happen, because there's not a lot you can do about them when they do happen. And unfortunately, these cars are kind of like the old Indy cars where they just keep bouncing. They're usually going really fast when bad things happen. So they have a lot of energy built up. And I know the schedule for this series is supposed to go to Bathurst at some point, and that's just, I don't even understand. Maybe by the time we get there, I'll have more experience with this, so it won't be as bad. And I do have some bad habits of trying to get on the gas a little bit too early in some places. And I've gotten down into the 220s. Like, I feel comfortable running there in practice. Just don't feel like I should really be trying to do that in the race, because questionable whether I'll be able to survive the entire race doing those. Apparently this thing, the draft is pretty decent on these things. And I can wait until we get to turn 1 before I try to pass, I believe. Ah. 10 more times. 11, sorry. I may just start lifting there and not trying to overdo it, because I lost all my confidence in myself to be able to do that correctly without lifting this morning. So considering I couldn't get it done. I did it a few times, but not enough. And right there, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. Because a few times it was basically, I know when I checked, I did that once this morning, and when I looked, it was, I hit the grass, but I think, and I've been trying to keep inside or tighter or further away from the outside so that I don't accidentally hit the grass there. I probably just made a mistake on my turn in and then kind of just locked him up to try to keep it from biting and going into the wall. Unfortunately, we lost our friend in front of us. Not sure if we're going to be able to catch back up to him. since it was the draft that was doing most of the work for us there.
I'll give you this turn so we can work together, okay, Michael?
And you lose so much speed doing it, but it's so much more survivable just cowarding out there a bit. Oh, there was a funny time during practice where I accidentally had the wrong... Okay, I know what I did that time. Didn't brake enough early on. And then was trying to turn and brake at the same time, which, you know, always works out well. More specifically, I was trying to heavy brake. We might be able to catch our friend there in front of us, because even with that mistake, we are... I feel like we're gaining on him. So one interesting thing, though, apparently in iRacing, they actually put a cam on this, on the gas, or on the throttle, to try to help you out and not kill yourself as easily, because just how much horsepower is in this engine. And, you know, no traction control. Alright, well, 1/3 of the way through. We've survived much further than I expected. And now looking at how far our friend is in front of us, yeah, I don't think we're going to catch him. I may cut out a few laps here, just due to lack of anything interesting happening. May leave the compilation of all those, though, until the one I die. I remember what I was talking about earlier. I had the wrong version of the track loaded. I had the combined without the first chicane, but it had the second chicane, which is this one coming up here. Needless to say, the car doesn't do well when hitting those speed bumps right here at 200 miles an hour. And I'll show you that now. I know you're supposed to cut that corner or that curb a lot more, and I've been trying. I think now I'm just so afraid of it, of losing the car, because it matters. Because I hadn't been doing it to how I like. Oh, come on.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained. They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained.
Okay, I hadn't done that one yet. So that one's new. Seems to be the big thing I'm doing right now, is just learning new mistakes. And part of the problem there may be, I know it may look like I'm trying to turn a little bit, but I don't have any feedback. There's a nasty dead zone in the middle for centered, where I have no feedback whatsoever, because the springs haven't engaged yet because of the style or the way this wheel was built. Which, when driving this car, is my biggest complaint. But I think if I would just suck it up and do better on braking, it wouldn't be so bad. which is probably where I'm failing. But braking in this thing's a bit different. I'm still not sure if I'm actually locking up the tires or not, just braking normally. I just noticed there's a bit of camber there on the road too. I wonder if that's contributing some. And here's a spot that is kind of one of those interesting spots, like, I never thought I could die here just going flat out, but if you're not careful, there is enough of a bump, and this is gonna not end well. Oh, whew. The brake point is before the 200, and I didn't brake until at the 200. And in the past, every time I'd done that, I had gone blazing past that turn. I know I'm abusing the throttle there a lot, and I need to quit. I think I'm just over braking on entry. And so instead of continuing to trail brake a little bit longer into the turn, I'm already too slow, so. This is not a downforce car, so coasting isn't too terrible. I just don't think you should be doing a whole lot of it. But this is, so I thought I'd also say that this is a series I don't plan on primarily focusing on. Just kind of something to do when I can to help learn another faster car. So that this should help me just improve as a racer. This should just help my driving skills overall. Since you have to be a lot more careful. In several aspects with this versus the other one. Okay, so we did that better, but it was still really, really slow. One of the most difficult things coming up to speed with this car, if you can define what I am as at speed with it yet, I wouldn't. Is there sometimes where it just doesn't want to turn like I'd like it to. Which is kind of funny to say, I know. But it's interesting. And I would like to be in the 21s instead of the 22s. We're surviving, so I will take it. And I don't know how to describe it better than it just doesn't do what I want it to do. And that may be a combination of things, like I need to do a little bit more on the brakes to get it to really turn better. Or it could just be I'm going a lot faster, so of course it's not going to turn like I would expect a car going slower to turn. Figure with some time and some experience, it'll help. You know, I'm not too unhappy with my performance so far with my first time out in this car. There we go, that was better. Can live with that series of turns. But right here, there's a bump. To where there was a few times I was just not really paying attention and just flat out. Did it again. Being flat out at that bit. And there's enough of a bump that the back end can come loose, and
Thank you, Mitchell.
I did not survive that many times. It's like we may gain another place by attrition. Be honestly, coming out for this race, I expected to just be a iRating donor. I don't think we're going to do our safety rating any favors, though. I don't know how many X's we're at. We should be at least like 3, 4 maybe. And one of the nice things about this track, and one of the reasons why I thought it was a good one to start with, is there's not a whole lot of turns to learn. And what turns there are tricky. Or I guess, but there are quite a few little tricky bits to this. Oh. Guess that answers that question, and interestingly enough, the delay from that first one meant we didn't get it for the second one. Even though that getting that first one probably caused the second one because I was too busy trying to read it when I shouldn't have been trying to. I was surprised to see just how much area you could use over there. Oh, what happened to Dawn? And I think one of the most interesting things I've learned is because the brake zones are so long, there are quite a few times where I've had to get like secondary and tertiary brake marks to make sure I didn't already blow past the brake zone. Because like just there on entering the brake zone for that last turn whose name I don't remember. I know it's a turn that makes absolute sense, but I can't remember what it is. Parabola, maybe? Regardless, I just know that, like, because I had gone blazing past the 200 and to the 100 before starting braking multiple times, that if I already see fence line before the brake board, then I know then the next one's going to be the 200. Which is just hilarious to me that I would have to do that. Because you blink and you'll miss the 300 board and then it won't be good. Also looks like I may be starting to turn in a little bit too early there. And I missed it. Looks like Russell's probably going to catch us. It's interesting just how catchable this thing is, though. That may be just because I'm much better and often catch them before they really start and get out of hand.
Just want to warn you, Michael, your car's blinking really bad on me right now.
But we'll do our best and see if we can stay ahead of Russell. Wow, we're actually only have 4 laps left.
It's just blinking every now and then.
I probably don't even need to be lifting that much to be safe about it. I am now also to the point where I was like, I just want to finish. For a second there, I thought we were going to be way too close to the left and hit the grass and turn 90 degrees. But we fortunately weren't, or didn't. Yeah, that was pretty bad right there because I had to wait so long to get back on the gas. Ooh, wasn't a bad time. Even though there were lots of mistakes there. Easily would have been in the 20s had I been doing the exit of the oval section flat out. And there's a section here where I've died because the grass there comes in on the left rather suddenly and unexpectedly. In practice yesterday, I was way too far over the left and I tried to get over further to the left right at the same time that the grass came out. And yeah, the results were pretty hilarious. Now, considering we have 4 laps, that's good. And if you're curious, I'm using Andrew Ng's setup from the forums. He's actually in this race, and thank you for that, Andrew. Whew. It will be close with Russell. Unfortunately, I think he's going to get us right here on the last lap. Unless I can somehow put some distance between us. That turn is still weird to me because it's like a double apexer, kind of, sort of, weird. I'll take that consistency, even though I don't think it's going to be enough to hold off Russell. Uh-oh. Not sure if he died earlier or what. If there's a time to push that turn, it'll be on the last lap, not yet. Even then, it looks like we only have a few people running. So we would lose at most 2 places. Yes, I'm doing a risk assessment on it. I mean, honestly, at the pace difference, I don't think it's going to be enough to matter. No, we messed that one up a good. We are not doing ourselves any favors right now. Oh, what the? The concertina effect? So I didn't think we pulled away that big of a gap yet from him until this turn. There's still a chance. I think he may have made a mistake or something. A bigger mistake than we did. Oh yeah, because we have a second bigger gap now than we did last lap here. Definitely have to see if we can hold on to that. Now this is the tricky part, is you want to be a bit higher and not as close to the line as on the last oval, but it's tricky to get to that spot without hitting the wall up top. I have totally never done that and not tried to slide up a little bit and slammed into it. I mean, what kind of moron would do that? Wish I still had highlights of all the screw-ups I made here. I don't think there's enough hard drive space in the world for it, though.
Great strategy there, Mr. Michael. Awesome.
Darn it.
Race. Woo! That was a blast.
It would have been nice not to get that last 1x. More so because I'm irritated I messed up that turn than anything else. At least we got that one done well.
Yes, sir. That's well-deserved win, Michael. Congratulations. Good job, Aubrey.
All right, one more. We can do it. Okay, there we go. Much better.
I hope we can do more of that at that 2130 race. That'll be quite a show for Global Sim Racing Channel.
So that went far better than expected. Parabolica is the turn name I was thinking of. I see what I was doing on that turn. I kept making mistakes on the first turn after the second chicane, or where the second chicane would be in the modern Monza. I hadn't trail braked enough yet, or started to, before I started turning in. Whoops. So I got to figure out why I'm doing that, because I think it's just purely psychological, in that I'm expecting the car to be going slower or different or something there, and so it's kind of making me think I still need to be under heavy braking when I need to start already fading. Basically, I think time, and like I was saying before, time experience with the car will help a lot. With that though, I'm happy to say we did fairly well. We actually got to do some racing early on. Unfortunately, we weren't able to stay with anyone or catch anyone after that, but that's how it goes sometimes. Let me know if you guys like the series or not, and you want to see more. With that, if you like, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If you have any questions, suggestions, feedback, or advice, drop it in the box below. Good luck in your races, and y'all take it easy.